good day to you all. My name is Ruth Charlotte Intwa Saki. I am a psychiatrist. I work in Ghana at the Confirmatory Teaching Hospital, Kumasi. I was a privileged student, part of the 36th batch of the MSc Child and Adolescent Mental Health Program, whose director, our very own pioneer and leader, Prof. Olayinka Omigbodun. My time, it was the most international community made up of several people from different parts of Africa. Since the program, have been working, caring for children and adolescents with mental health challenges of all sorts, with neurodevelopmental issues, aside working as a general psychiatrist. I'll say the MSc program was a very wonderful experience, a very important learning curve for me, and one that was really enlightening and that opened my eyes to so many things. It was an experience that helped me to appreciate conditions that I had seen and heard in my training, especially in psychiatry, but I was not well conversant with because there was no formal training that was that in-depth or was that revealing. And I really enjoyed the program that Prof had initiated and all the efforts that she went through to get the program started and running, and for me to also become a beneficiary of the program. In my MSc work, I worked on substance use and quality of life among young people with mental disorders. And in this project work, I looked at comorbidities. I had realized that when especially young people come to us as health professionals, they are hardly well assessed, and a couple of them have other problems aside their presenting mental health issue, and we most of the time are not well trained to pick up comorbidities, especially substance use disorders. So I looked at that and found that at least a quarter of young people with mental disorders also have substance use disorders which are not identified or managed. And this affects their the interventions that we put in place for them and affects the outcome or prognosis of their conditions. Having taken this project, I since then have been able to draw attention to many clinicians and mental health professionals to go a step further, to look out for other comorbidities, other challenges, and also part of the study was able to recognize the implications on the quality of life of these young people and the particular domains of the quality of life that is affected. Realize that the environmental domain is most of the time affected, and that means that a lot of environmental factors contribute to these young people either not having the needed care intervention, and that reduces their quality of life. Since I started the program, I've been includes like a hot cake in child and adolescent mental health in Ghana. Where I'm situated serves the middle to the whole northern sectors of Ghana. That's about 10 out of 16 regions. And so a lot of referrals come in from across all the regions, and we have to manage. So we've been able to, with other colleagues, get a very formidable multidisciplinary clinic, the child and adolescent neuropsychiatry clinic, in place. And every Tuesday we are working hard, and every first Tuesday we're able to bring other health professionals on board to help these children. And since then, there are a lot of other collaborative projects are undertaken with other colleagues in the pediatric um, sector and educational sector. So, indeed, the program is, I can't over emphasize how useful the MSc CAM project has been. And today, as we celebrate Prof, I want to say, Prof, congratulations. The seeds you've sown, the effort you've put in, your leadership prowess is unimaginable, is great, and we appreciate you for all you are, all you have done, and all you are doing. We wish you a happy 60th anniversary, and we say congratulations for your good work.
I am Olayinka, consultant, pediatrician, and a child and adolescent mental health professional from Freetown, Sierra Leone. I currently work at the Oladun Children's Hospital, the Pediatric Referral Hospital in Freetown. I also lecture at the Department of Pediatrics, University of Sierra Leone. I had the opportunity of benefiting from the CAMH program at the Center for Child and Adolescent Mental Health, University of Ibadan. Since being on the CAMH program to date, I've experienced the dynamic interplay between the practice of pediatrics and the mental health and well-being of children and adolescents. As the saying goes, there is no health without mental health. In my current practice, we've established a CAMH clinic where we routinely care for and provide follow-up for children and adolescents with mental health disorders. Together with social workers, we provide routine counseling services to children and mothers as the need dictates. We've also added a module to the pediatric curriculum wherein the center introduced to pediatric mental health disorders. During the CAMH program, my research project involved children under 5 years and their mothers in a low-income settlement in central Freetown. The aim was to evaluate the children's physical health, mental health, and development, and also assess their nutritional status. Then look out for correlates for these parameters in their mothers, including socio-demographic correlates and other health correlates, including depression in the mothers. 300 mother-child pairs were recruited during the study. I did a general physical examination of the children and also went on to assess their nutritional status. The 10 question screen for childhood disability was used to assess them for developmental disorders. A 51-item questionnaire which had questions on family life, personal life, health information, and child health was administered to the mothers. The mother's BMI was assessed. Then I went on to evaluate the mothers for depression using the World Mental Health Survey interview version of the Composite International Diagnostic Interview, that's the WMI-CD. Of the population studied, 33.3% of the children had some degree of undernutrition, with 15.3% having moderate to severe forms. In fact, 3 children were found with severe malnutrition living in the community, and these were promptly referred to Oladun Hospital where they had inpatient treatment. 34.3% of the children also had developmental delays, at least one developmental delay, with learning problems being the most prevalent of the delays. Being a low-income community with high prevalence of single parenting, repeated history of floodings with loss of property, lack of social support, it was not surprising that most 22.3% of the mothers had a degree of depression. Further analysis showed that undernutrition, single parents, lack of social support was significantly correlated to developmental delays among the children. In this community, children could receive routine care from immunization visits and then sick child visits. Advocate was made that nutritional assessments be added to these, and also health education, which has been done. We are still advocating for mental health and developmental screening to be added to their routine screening such that these children will be picked up early and interventions provided to them so they don't progress to having serious mental health disorders that will impact on the larger society. It's also been advocated that the mothers receive mental health services in addition to their routine health services. With all thanks to my supervisor, Professor Olayinka.
Good day, everyone. My name is James Koroma, a child and adolescent mental health practitioner in Sierra Leone. The greatest influence in my career life is the Provost, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, Professor Olayinka Omigbodun. Her passion for child and adolescent mental health in Africa motivated me to what I am today. Her influence took me to the Center for Child and Adolescent Mental Health, University of Ibadan, to pursue the master's degree in child and adolescent mental health. I had unforgettable experiences during the program, learning from different schools of thought. I had the opportunity to attend IAGAPAP conference, making new friends, and the experience of cultural diversity. But the most rewarding experience was the alabaster of knowledge of research I acquired in the Center of Excellence. I carried out a research work titled The Effects of Training on Child Mental Health on Teachers' Knowledge of Developmental and Behavioral Problems in Primary School Children in Ibadan, Southwest Nigeria. This work was supervised by Dr. Cornelius Ani and Dr. Titi Bella Hausa. This research work was based on the background that recent epidemiological studies on school mental health in Nigeria suggest that teachers have limited knowledge and negative attitudes towards child and adolescent mental health problems. The aim of the study was to evaluate the effects of child mental health training on the knowledge and attitude of primary school teachers towards child mental health problems, as well as knowledge of developmental and behavioral problems among primary school pupils. The study utilizes a quasi-experimental design conducted among 140 teachers in 4 randomly selected primary schools in Ibadan North local government area. The study showed that the intervention was effective in improving knowledge of learning disability and ADHD with moderate and large effect, 0.64 and 1.27 respectively. However, the training improved neither the knowledge of CAMH problems nor attitude towards CAMH problems in the intervention group. This study showed that educational interventions are practicable and effective in improving knowledge of learning disabilities and ADHD among teachers in Southwest Nigeria. Efficacy appears to improve with an increase in number of sessions. Knowledge and attitude about general child and adolescent mental health problems appear to be more difficult to change using short training programs. Given that of evidence-based interventions to improve teachers' knowledge about mental health problems among primary school children in Sub-Saharan Africa, this study provides useful information regarding the feasibility and efficacy of such interventions in this region. If implemented, this intervention could result in improved early recognition and referral of children with developmental and behavioral problems in sub-Saharan African settings. Finally, the C-CAMH has impacted my career so much that if I fail to say how it does, I do injustice to my soul. With the C-CAMH, I had the opportunity to open the first CAMH clinic in Sierra Leone, where I am working today. I have been promoted to the rank of Principal Nursing Officer. I am currently teaching as Associate Lecturer too at University of Sierra Leone College of Medicine and Adolescent. And above all, the appointment of Vice President Ayakapa in the African region. Professor Olayinka Omigbodun, may you continue to live in the next century. Thank you all.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rita Tamambang Frinwi. I currently work as a Junior Research Fellow at the Center for Child and Adolescent Mental Health at the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, Nigeria, where I coordinate 2 research projects domiciled at the center. I am also a junior resident at the Department of Psychiatry at the University College Hospital, Ibadan. My experience in C-CAMH was a real eye-opener for me. I had learned that about 20 years ago, there was virtually nothing as regards child and adolescent mental health in Nigeria. But over the recent years, tremendous work has been done under the leadership of C-CAMH's Pioneer Director. And currently, a Department of Child and Adolescent Mental Health has been created at the University College Hospital. And from this department, we've had an in-clinic service and also community services. I see myself replicating this feat in my country, Cameroon. As part of my dissertation, as part of my master's, to obtain my master's at the center, I had carried out a project in my country where mental health research is virtually not existent. I carried out my research on maternal mental health and its association with infant development and breastfeeding practices. So what did we find out? We found out that periods of postpartum depression was about 30%. That means 3 out of every 10 women in the postpartum period suffers from depression. We also found out that some women are more likely to develop postpartum depression than another. And some of these women, the characteristics of these women included those who are adolescents, those who had unplanned pregnancies, and those who have maternal conflicts. We also noticed that some of these women were protected against postpartum depression, and those protected were those who had male infants and those who were living in the urban setting. And in addition, we noticed that, or we recorded that, women who had postpartum depression were more likely to have suboptimal breastfeeding practices. My experience in C-CAMH has impacted my career a lot. C-CAMH did not only give me the skills. I am privileged to be the first trained child and adolescent mental health professional in my country, Cameroon. C-CAMH has served as a springboard to my career in mental health. The postgraduate program has not only shaped my skills in identifying mental health problems, but also impacted me with the ability to profess solutions to mental health challenges through research and innovation. Thank you.
My name is Ibangani Kayola, and I'm based in Khartoum, Sudan, where I serve as the country director of Mercy Corps Sudan. Mercy Corps is a global team of humanitarians working together on the front lines of today's biggest crises to create a future of possibility where everyone can prosper. We work to alleviate suffering, poverty, and oppression, and help people build secure, productive, and just communities. Our work in Sudan covers the triple nexus approach, with a range of projects interlinking the humanitarian, development, and peace sectors. Our projects are designed to mitigate the crisis created by conflict and climate change. Our work enables economic opportunities, improvement of food and water security, and supports peace and governance efforts. We bring a comprehensive approach to every challenge, addressing problems from multiple angles, working with people living in fragile communities to develop bold solutions that make lasting change possible. I was a student on the 4th cohort of the MSc CAMH, and I found a real sense of community and family, not just among my classmates, but among the C-CAMH faculty as well. I have very fond memories that I treasure and still have strong bonds with many of my classmates. My thesis was a cross-sectional study assessing exposure to adverse childhood experiences, locus of control orientation, and mental health functioning among male juvenile offenders in Zambia. The objectives of the study were to determine the socio-demographic characteristics and offense profiles of male juvenile offenders, to determine the lifetime prevalence of adverse childhood experience exposure, and to assess the mental health functioning of these juvenile offenders. The study showed that the average number of adverse childhood experiences reported by the respondents was 6. The most frequently reported adverse childhood experiences were community violence, emotional abuse, and living with a family member who abused alcohol or other substances. In addition to the family-level risk factors, the study showed that community violence is a significant risk factor for juvenile offending. Young people with chronic and direct exposure to violence were found to be more likely to engage in criminal behavior. Through the study, I also learned that rapid population growth and poor economic performance in many countries across Africa have engendered a new phase of poverty, where rural-urban migrants exchange rural poverty for urban poverty. A consequence of increased urban poverty is an increase in the number of children living in especially difficult circumstances. And these are children who are exposed to intense, multiple risks to their physical and mental health. These findings spurred my interest in finding solutions to address community-level risk factors. Since graduating from the MSc-CAMH program, I have worked with organizations delivering evidence-based programs to communities living in extreme poverty to create safe, secure, and just communities where all members, but especially children and adolescents, can thrive. The MSc-CAMH gave me the skills to design programs focused on the needs of children in especially difficult circumstances and to build resilient, scalable solutions designed to interrupt cycles of fragility. Evaluations of some of the programs I've worked on have shown the positive impacts of interventions such as cash transfers on a range of outcomes including asset ownership, household income, food security, psychological well-being, and decreased domestic violence.
Hello, my name is Dr. Precious Maki from Malawi. I'm one of the 66 members, 66 cohorts, I must say. I'm a medical doctor. I'm also a mental health, child and adolescent mental health professional, as I've said, based in Malawi. My experience on the CAMH program was that this was more of what I really wanted. It was in line with my passion, and I really enjoyed my experience in CAMH. The practical experience, visiting the remand home, the clinics, the ward rounds, everything was just so perfect, and I really enjoyed the experience. So my research was mostly on I was looking at developmental delay, the prevalence and correlates of developmental delay in two communities in Blantyre. The prevalence was quite high, so the implication of it is that we need to invest in early childhood development as far as the first 1,000 years of adulthood or human being are concerned, because that's where the foundation is. So after coming from the program, I've done quite a lot by the grace of God. I've been doing trainings, like recently in 2022, I was hired by UNICEF Malawi, where we did some mental health education in 6 institutions of higher level, where we trained a total of slightly above 1,000 young people in mental health, psychological first aid. I was also hired by an organization to do some training courses to civil society leaders working in the space of gender-based violence. Apart from that, we've been in different corporate events, corporate work, where we're giving some mental health occupational mental health trainings. So mostly I'm working as in my consultancy field called Genius Intellectual Consultancy, where we mostly deal with preventive side of mental health, where we do training, mental health awareness, leadership, and service development, as well as research, and also counseling for those who need basic counseling services. Thank you.
And a Gambian currently doing a residency in psychiatry in Kolibo Teaching Hospital, Ghana. MSc C-CAMH was a very beautiful experience. It has afforded me the opportunity to meet different people from different parts of the world. It was an eye-opener for me in the field of psychiatry. My research was on prevalence and progress of child and adolescent mental disorders in Gunjur, Western Division of the Gambia. The study revealed a prevalence of 23.7% of childhood mental disorders, and it also revealed that repeated hospital visits, parental conflict, repeating a grade, reporting difficulties with teachers, and experience of being bullied in school were significantly associated with mental disorders. MSc C-CAMH has given me the opportunity to work with the Ministry of Education in the Gambia and the Department of Special Needs to assess the children with mental disorders and also provide interventions for them. The MSc C-CAMH also encouraged me to pursue a specialty training in psychiatry. All this were possible because of Olayinka Omigbodun, who has given me the opportunity to pursue an MSc degree in C-CAMH. She also encouraged me to take my primary exams in psychiatry while I was there. I'm highly grateful to her and the C-CAMH family, and I pray for her continuous good health, long life, so that she can continue to help many in Africa and the wider world.
My name is Ayatunde Omotosho. I'm a lecturer and consultant psychiatrist at the University of Ilorin, Nigeria. I'm also a proud alumnus at the Center for Child and Adolescent Mental Health, C-CAMH, Ibadan, Nigeria. This was where I had the rare privilege of working closely with Professor Olayinka Omigbodun, the director at the time of the C-CAMH program. As the class governor in my set 6, I had the opportunity to see that for Professor Omigbodun, it went beyond the call of duty, and indeed it was a calling. There I did my master's dissertation on eating and sleeping disorders, and she was one of the supervisors of that project. What we found in our study was that eating disorders was not quite common amongst the population in Nigeria that was sampled. However, we realized that poor sleep was rather common amongst the in-school adolescents in this study, and indeed 3 out of every 5 adolescents in the study had poor sleep. Also, we looked at their nutritional status and used the WHO Andro software to analyze the data. We found that 21% were underweight, 20% were overweight, and the 2 phases of malnutrition were demonstrated in our study. Our study has been published in various journals because we had findings that were relevant in different domains. We have also had international conferences where we shared the findings from our studies. What we found in our study and in my dissertation has greatly impacted my immediate community as well as the academic community to which I belong. I really must thank Professor Olayinka Omigbodun and wish you heartily a happy birthday, long life and prosperity. We're so grateful for all the wonderful things you do for psychiatry and for mental health in sub-Saharan Africa and beyond. God bless you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Halim Abdurrahman. I'm a consultant psychiatrist at the Department of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry in UCH in Ibadan. I belong to the MSc CAM Set 3, and I have been fortunate to have known Professor Olayinka Omigbodun since 2013. And so briefly going to my experience on the MSc CAMH program. First of all, she sponsored the MSc CAMH program for me by helping me to get the bursary award from the MacArthur Foundation. And I found the 18 months program to be very intensive. Actually, it was motivating. It gave us a lot of, the knowledge, the skills, and the experience we all needed to be proud of ourselves as CAMH professionals. And the project that I worked on after completing the MSc program was the project that looked at the prevalence of depression amongst adolescents in secondary school in Ibadan, particularly looking at how the coping mechanisms that they use, that they employ in different ways affected or protected them from developing depression. One thing that was important that was learned from this study was that depression is quite common among young people who are in secondary school, and that a lot of young people actually make use of negative coping mechanisms that in turn worsens the symptoms of depression. Looking generally at the impact that the MSc, the Masters in Child Adolescent Mental Health has given me, it has empowered me to, be confident in myself as a child adolescent mental health professional. I have the knowledge of identifying the different problems and formulating different ways and holistic patterns of helping young people to address their problems and to solve these problems and disorders that occur in young people. I'm particularly grateful to Prof because the MSc program not only provided me with the knowledge and the skills, also gave me a launching pad for me to start my career as a child and adolescent mental health professional. So I really want to thank Prof for benevolence, and I want to continue to pray that God Almighty will continue to grant you long life and prosperity, and will continue to elevate you and continue to protect you in all your endeavors. I pray that God Almighty will continue to grant you your heartfelt desires and will continue to broaden your horizons and help those of us who have aligned ourselves with you to also seek a lot of progress in our own endeavors. So, Prof, I would like to say happy birthday to you, ma.